Welcome everybody to another episode of Andertons TV.
Hello.
Today we're talking about fuzz, Pete.
Fuzz. I'm difficult for me to say fuzz.
Fuzz.
I always say it's wrong. Fuzz.
The fuzz pedal
Fuzz.
was that probably the first ever pedal. Going back into the early to mid 60s.
The annals of fuzz.
Yes.
Annals, sorry.
Exactly. Legend has it that, you know, and you can go and Wikipedia this, but, you know, there was a studio session going on in the States. One of the channels on the mixer was faulty, but it gave like a crackly, overdriven kind of sound to that no one had ever heard before, to one of the guitar tracks. The general consensus was someone went, I kind of like that though, it's kind of funky, and then that circuit was put into a pedal, sold as the Maestro Fuzz, and anyway, Fuzz is born.
Fuzz is born.
As a thing. And Josh at JHS is a Fuzz fan. There's a lot of alliteration here going on here. He is a fabulous Fuzz fan. And he has paid homage to some of the most famous fuzz circuits of all time in his own kind of vibe. I kind of like the fact that the casing of them harks back to that sort of cheese wedge shape of the early fuzz pedals. Really cool. Although not, in fairness, of the shape of the first one that he's done the homage to. So we've got 4 pedals here, and the first one, the Smiley, is based around the fuzz face, the Dallas Arbiter fuzz face, which was the round pedal designed to look like the base of a mic stand, and probably made most famous by Mr. Jimi Hendrix as the fuzz pedal that he would typically use.
And it looks like it's got a smiley face on it with the 2 eyes.
Not this, but the original round one.
Yeah, that's why that's called Smiley, I guess.
9-volt power supply. On-off switch, volume, fuzz, and on the side is a mode which goes from a circuit which is more reminiscent of the original fuzz face circuit to like a JHS mod on that circuit. So Pete, we've got 2 amps. We've got a clean amp which sounds like this. So you're all valve amplifiers, but you're typically more Fendery, bass heavy kind of clean tone. And we've got, for the first time ever, which I'm loving, is this new Friedman Jerry Cantrell 20-watt one, which is a little bit more grunty in the mid-range, a little bit less bass end, and sounds like this.
I think I used that when we had one of the lockdowns. I had it upstairs, downstairs, but you didn't get to play it.
But
I did.
The reason we've done that is because I think fuzz players, you know, they'll use them over clean amps, they'll use them over driven amps, they'll use them with humbuckers, they'll use them with single coils, and every time you change anything in the mix, fuzz pedals change, probably more so than any other kind of drive circuit, don't they? So I thought we'd have a play around. So let's set our phasers to stun and start with everything at 12 o'clock and just do a straightforward clean sound on and off on the Smiley.
So we got a clean first.
Very dark, sort of feels like with the settings here, there's a that isn't getting the power to it.
Yeah, it's
that
not getting...
needs to give that brightness and that aggressiveness. But for certain sounds, I love it. I mean, it's big, fat, juicy.
I wanted to have more.
Yeah, well, I'm just gonna. I mean, I'm not sure there's much point. I'll show you less. Effectively, it's less fuzz. Let's just juice both the volume and the fuzz up to maybe like a 1 or 2 o'clock kind of position on a clock face. still feels to me like it wants more.
Yeah, it needs more.
Let's go to like maybe 3 or 4 o'clock on it.
Yeah, now it's waking up, isn't it?
There is a little bit more to go.
More to go. What happens if I roll it back here? Whoa! Holy moly! Those single coils are screaming.
Yeah, let's try it with the second mode, which gives you more of that sort of gated fuzz. That will probably work great as you start to reduce the volume. But I'm going to keep these controls here round about probably the 3 o'clock. I'm definitely feeling like it just comes alive when everything's over 3 o'clock. But here's the gated mode.
Definitely need a bit more on that.
Certainly easier to get a sound out of it in the normal mode. I think as soon as you add that sort of gated effect in, you've got to play to the fuzz a bit more.
Yeah.
I'm conscious of the fact that we've potentially got 2 guitars and 2 amps for each pedal, so we're not going to be able to dwell too long on each one. So do you want to try Humbucker first into the clean, or go over into the clean?
Let's do that. Yep.
Back with everything on 12. Here we go. Same thing, really, isn't it? It's like, come on, baby, where are you?
Yeah. A bit more of that Velcro fuzz, even though it's not in that mode.
It's so interesting with fuzz pedals. They react so differently depending on the guitar. I think I like the Telecaster better for that. But let's jump over to the other amp. And again, we'll just put these back to 12 again, take the gated mode off. It's gated mode sounds like an expensive place to live, like a complex gated mode. Anyway, here we go.
Is that on the gated mode or?
No.
Okay. I like that when you play with the tone.
let's try it through the
Let's try it.
Telecaster. My feeling is that the pedal is dark anyway,
dark, yeah.
and if you use a dark sounding guitar, I was, again, my knowledge of fuzz is nothing like as encyclopedic as someone like Josh's, but I'm kind of thinking of fuzz face players. I tend to think of single coil players. You know, whether it's like Hendrix now or Eric Johnson or whatever. My gut feeling is when we get over to the Tonebender, you might begin to start to think of more humbucker players, and I wonder if that's something to do with the brightness, but whatever. Anyway, here we go with the Tele.
Got that mid-range thing on it. There's also something about the...
I've put the spitty thing in. Right, so that's the Smiley.
That's fun.
Plenty of noise in there, as you can, I mean, I don't think there's no apologies for just how noisy some of these pedals will be if you stack it over something with plenty of gain. But that's the Smiley from 1969 London, it basically says, which I'm guessing is presumably when the fuzz face was born.
Yeah.
So now we're going over to pedal number 2. So pedal number 2 is called the Supreme. It's got 1972 Japan on there, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't really, I'm not massively familiar with what circuit that's likely to be. You can read on the JHS website or the Andertons website about it. It does appear that at that particular time, a lot of other brands were using Japanese manufacturers and therefore Japanese influences and circuits to get the fuzzes. This apparently is based on a fuzz that Pete Townsend used. But yeah, of the 4, it's the one I'm probably least familiar with. But let's do the same again. So we're back to the clean amp, are we?
Yeah.
And I've got everything at, we've got volume and expand now, but the expand control is really acting as the fuzz control, and we've got a mode and a tone control on the side, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So same as before, let's start with everything on 12, see what it sounds like. Yeah, that squishy.
And as soon as I roll down the volume a little bit, it seems like, I think it's got a light octave on it as well. You got that flute going on.
I love it. I love it.
That's good, isn't it, that one?
So let's just try again, like we did before. I'm going to juice the volume just a smidgen more, but we'll start with the expand on 0 and see what happens between sort of 0 and 12 o'clock. Nothing like anything I ever heard Pete Townsend play. or sound-wise, but let's juice the expand side up. So now I'll take it up. Whilst Pete's playing, I'll wind it all the way in.
It's funny how the tone control, when you roll it all the way up, that's the thing people should try with fuzz pedals. They don't wear it.
And interestingly, this feels like almost the opposite of the Smiley in that all the change happens between 0 and 12 o'clock. Then not much happens beyond that. And actually all the good sounds for me, particularly those fluty sounds, are in between that. They're like that 11 through to 2 o'clock kind of range.
But have a look at this. Full volume, tone control all the way out, right? Tone all the way down. Almost like a wow.
You played a big rec chord there, I think. It just had that. Anyway, it's got 2 modes. The second mode is a mid boost, so let's see what happens here.
Those octave intervals.
Yeah. The other control is a mid scoop. There's a tone control as a mid scoop, which seems a little bit counterintuitive in the you say one button does a mid boost, one does a mid scoop. So if you switch them both on at the same time, does it just go back to normal? But apparently not. So let's get some.
Scoop the boop.
I'll scoop the boop boop boop.
Scoop the boop. Let's try the other amp.
That's nothing. Try the other guitar. My favourite sound so far has been this with the telly into the clean amp.
Yeah.
I
got a feeling Fuzz likes clean amps, but that might just be me. Let's go back to the clean amp.
I think you got to remember, okay, back in the 60s, I suppose amps were clean.
Yeah.
Even Marshalls well, much cleaner than, you know, modern, you know, JCM
Otherwise,
style
why would they have to
Marshalls
break
are.
up the pedal in front of it? It's how you do those intervals.
Holy
Those I'm not so keen on that one.
Other amp. That's wicked.
Yeah, that's great. Into the clean amp, man. Boom.
Yeah, into the dirty amp. I just think you just have to roll the expand off a little bit into the dirty amp. But that sounds great. So anyway, time warping forward to 1973 with the Bender. Everything on 12, Pete.
Everything on 12.
Telecaster into a clean amplifier.
That's like more of a proper standard. That's what I think about a fuzz, right?
I can't even speak.
More driven, it's more overdrive.
Yeah, I was thinking
the
when
fuzz's not there yet.
I know in the spec when we were reading about this, it calls out a couple of bands that, you know, would have been famous for using this particular era Tonebender, and it had Bowie and Led Zeppelin and stuff, but it said the Beatles.
The Beatles.
And I was thinking, well, that Revolver is the classic kind of fuzz tone, but I always think that's a pretty grim sounding drive sound, very dry and thin, a raspy kind of sound, but nothing, and absolutely nothing like that either.
It sounds great.
So it did.
I
love this. These are getting progressively better, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's particularly good because it's more.
It's not got that squishy thing though that the Supreme's got, and I like that on the Supreme.
I like that.
You know. So this is the first time we've got 3 controls now in the pedals, and the last one has 3 as well. So we've got volume, tone, and attack. Again, we're using different words, I think, each time for the fuzz element of it, but essentially they all have a fuzz control. This one's called attack. Interesting, always on fuzz pedals, the volume and the tones, they all interact. And then the mode switch on the side is basically an overall boost, volume boost kind of circuit in there. Again, if you remember from the beginning, with the mode disengaged, it should be relatively faithful to the original, and then the mode switch in is like Josh's kind of little mod to this. So whilst Pete's playing, I'll fiddle with the different controls on the top. over the other amp. I mean, this is fat. Like you say, it's a little... You can almost begin to feel now the transition into a more modern, typical drive.
Yeah,
pedal,
exactly.
can't you?
Yeah, it's becoming more modern, isn't it?
So let's scan everything on 12. I actually prefer the non-modded mode. The modded mode, quite subtle, but was just making it a little bit brighter and less bassy.
Here's the other amp. I'd roll the tone off. I'm tone roll off here now.
Let's try the Les Paul.
Here's the polys.
We going clean or dirty?
We just go there first, right?
Okay, fine.
Okay, so here we go. Is in the clean. Oh!
Whoa!
I just like fuzz pedals into clean amps.
So far, all of them. I mean, again, I look at. There are lots of artists I know who've got their killer fuzz tones through an already driven amplifier. But I'm with you. At the moment, what's happening is every time we're putting one of these fuzz pedals into this amplifier, everything's feeling like it's becoming super compressed and squashed already, and there's like it's not allowing the sort of the dynamic of the player and the tone to sort of breathe and go up and down. It's almost just like, right, full gun straight away every time.
Are you talking about the pedal and the amp now, or are you talking about something completely different?
But I think it sounds. I must admit, I still think I prefer the previous one, the Supreme, to this.
Supreme is still my favourite.
I'm loving that octave effect that it's got in there. But look. Done with the Bender?
Yeah.
There's not many times you're going to hear me say that. Let's go over to the Crimson.
Yes, back in the room.
So, last but not least, the modern father of fuzz, I would say, Mike Matthews at Electro Harmonics, with the Big Muff, you know, one of the most iconic pedals of all time. This is based on a 1992 Russian-made Big Muff.
1992.
Yes, the Red Army overdrive. And again, got volume, tone and distortion, and with the telly into the clean amplifier, it sounds like this. And with everything on 12, it sounds like this. No mode switch, yep, go.
Oh, let's get it.
It's the bass end on the Big Muff that I think sets it apart from lots of other fuzz circuits. It's just super fat. Who doesn't
muff.
like a fat Big Muff? So, distortion all the way off.
It's very fat, isn't it? Very...
Your tone all the way up, okay? So, bring in the distortion in. such a good fat.
It's
fat
It's
fuzz
very,
tone.
very, very fat.
Let's try the mode switch, which engages a slightly higher volume sound with more mid-range. I think as with every fuzz pedal, again, you know, I initially put the mode thing, I didn't like it, but then you adjust the settings and, you like it. It's every fuzz pedal, just, you got to find the sweet spot. You got to find it. Let's try the other amplifier and the other guitars and everything up to 12.
Oh, here you are. I feel dirty now. I'm just gonna wash my hands. There you go.
Let's just finish with the Les Paul into that dirty amplifier. Well, actually, into both amplifiers. Yeah, all very cool.
Yeah, that was super naughty.
What did we say these were? All 179.
179.
So they're not like crazy money for an American-made pedal.
No.
I like the look. I like the cheese wedge kind of look. I'm still leaning back to going that Supreme is the one that did it for me. But they've all got their own vibe, so I guess it's just a question.
At least it's not the same, you know.
Yeah, just pick the one that you like the best. And again, I guess the issue being is, I bet if you took another amp and another guitar, and you might find all four come out very different again.
Yeah, so that's why you have to buy them all four.
You have to buy all four.
Basically.
And every amp we sell and every guitar we sell, just to make sure you've got all your bases covered.
Just to make sure, then you get that.
And every plectrum as well. All right, here we go.
Here we go. The other amp.
Amps. Both amps.
thank you very much for watching this little fuzztastic.
What was your favourite?
Yeah. Still the Crimson for me.
Yeah.
No, what was the
Supreme. Yeah, there we go. Look, like Pete says, buy all 4. Hey, help us hit our sales targets every month.
179. Yeah.
There we go. Yeah. Thank you very much for watching. That's it. Like and subscribe, please. And that's enough fuzz for one day, if there is such a thing as too much fuzz for one day.
I need a break now. I certainly do. But thank you for watching.
Later.
Stay safe.